lovely justice warriors. We are on live. I hope the sound is okay. There was so much trouble with my laptop sound that we're doing it on the cell phone. So if you want to put into the chat if you can hear me, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume that you can. And I'm not going to be able to read chat because it's kind of far away, and I'm going to stay focused with my class, my practice teaching. So here we are on Friday, January 19th, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. As you know, I am a true crime channel, and I thought that I would keep my yoga practice separate from my YouTube, but as I'm progressing in my program, I feel like I need to integrate them. So that's what I'm doing here. I did my first practice teach yesterday, and it didn't have any sound, so I was like, that's cool. We'll just call it the Charlie Chaplin version. Hopefully today works out okay. So we start with envisioning what we want from this practice. So what would we like to receive, and what would we like to let go of from this practice teaching exercise? And this is probably going to be roughly 30 minutes. So just think for a moment. I will share, I want to let go of stress, and I want to gather peace. Letting go of stress and gathering peace. It's been quite a week and quite a day. So, all right, so we're going to get started in mountain pose, which is simply standing with hands by sides. And then we're going to do high mountain, which is like such. Oh, hey, who's there? Not so dumb blonde. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. Can you hear me okay? Is the sound kind of echoey because of the space that I'm in? And oh, I'm so glad to see you. Thank you. Okay, so we go high mountain and then mountain. And we'll do that for a minute. Let's do it again. High mountain and mountain. Hands to heart. Let's tilt our head to the right slightly, right ear to right shoulder, and just give a little pressure if you want. Everything in yoga is simply an invitation. Never do anything that doesn't feel right, and just modify it however you see fit. So to the other side. And again, and breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then just roll your head around, whatever feels good. And now we're going to do what I call banana bends. We're gonna just bend slightly to the right, and you can use your right fingers to pull on your, let's see if I can get my hands back in the screen, it's kind of rough. My right hand pulling on my left fingers just to give that extra stretch through the side. And come back to neutral, and then the other side to the left. Back to neutral. Let's do it again. To the right. And to the left. Forgive me while I keep checking my notes. So those are the side bends, and then we're going to do the mountain again. This is mountain. Very complicated, right? And we're going to do what we call cactus arms to eagle arms. So you can go left elbow over right, and then just press your hands together. If you can see in the screen, I've got the fingers of my right hand at the palm of my left hand. And This is called eagle arms. And then if you just raise your elbows ever so slightly, it gives a really nice stretch through the shoulders. So unpretzel yourself, and then the other side. So whichever arm you had over, now do the other one. So I've got my right arm over my left, and I've got my left hand in the palm of my right. I'm not gonna try to adjust the camera because it'll just fall apart. It's so hard to get the angles right and everything. So pushing up with the elbows, and you just really feel that release in your trapezoids. So back to mountain, and now we're gonna do the sun salutation. The sun salutation is a pretty intense series, so bear with me. We're gonna be doing a lot of them. So we're gonna start with mountain and high mountain, and then forward fold, halfway lift, and then back down. Chaturanga, which is your plank. And you can go on your knees if you like. And Sphinx, or Cobra, or Up Dog, and then into Downward Dog. So that's a Chaturanga flow. And from the Downward Dog, we're gonna get into tabletop, which is just simply lowering to your knees about hip width apart, and your hands about shoulder width apart. And we're gonna do cat-cow. So cat is breathing out and arching your back. Cow is breathing in and the other direction. So this is cow, breathe out for cat, in for cow, out for cat, in for cow. And then neutral spine. We're gonna get into pyramid pose, which just pop up onto your feet and get your right leg just closer to your hands. This is pyramid pose. It's very simple and basic. From pyramid pose, you can do standing splits, which is a nice stretch. And then from standing splits, swing your leg around into the lunge. So this is a crescent lunge. Am I still in the screen? So crescent lunge, and going to go back to plank, back to down dog, back to tabletop, and going to do the other side. So for the other side, see, this is so much more complicated than you would think. It's crazy, isn't it? So for the other side, let's do the neutral spine, and then pop up onto the heels of your feet. I'm gonna put my left leg closer to my hands this time. And this is the pyramid. And then from pyramid, going to do the standing splits. And then bring that leg around for another lunge. This is warrior 3, this lunge. So this is a balancing pose. And gonna go back to plank and do the chaturanga, which is lowering down from plank, Sphinx, the down dog, get your feet to the top of the mat or to your hands. Come up for high mountain. Drop it back down, fold over. Halfway lift, back down. Chaturanga, which is your plank. And then I always go on my knees when I lower down from plank. And then Sphinx or mini cobra or up dog, whatever you want to call it. And then into down dog. And we are going to get into the high crescent lunge again. So one leg forward, high crescent lunge. And then bring the back foot up a little bit and back into pyramid. Now with this pyramid, we're gonna do a twist. So we're gonna reach the left arm up to the ceiling, holding on to the right ankle with the right hand. And then we're gonna come back down. Maybe try it on the other side. The right arm up to the ceiling. Breathe into it and back down. And then the standing splits. Now standing splits, you can try to lift your hands off the floor, but I'm not that advanced yet, so I'm just gonna have one hand on my ankle, one hand on the floor. And down. So now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So mountain to high mountain, fold over, halfway lift, chaturanga, which is your plank, lower down, Sphinx, and downward dog. And now we're gonna do the high crescent lunge on the other side. So I'm gonna bring my left foot forward and arms in the air. This is your high crescent lunge. So I am not very advanced at yoga right now. I used to be once upon a time, then COVID happened. So I'm pretty stiff. Yoga for stiffs, right? So now, from the high crescent lunge, let's go down to pyramid. And then the twist, reaching for the ceiling with one hand. I've got my other hand balancing me on the floor. And then switching hands and reaching for the ceiling with the other hand. And then standing splits. So that was our second sequence. And now we're gonna do our third sequence. So high mountain, forward fold, halfway lift, which is really just to kind of straighten your back and touch the ground. And always relax your knees if you need to make it more comfortable. You don't have to have stiff knees. Nothing needs to be stiff. Wiggle a lot. Do whatever you need to do. Okay, so the forward fold, halfway lift, the chaturanga, which is your plank. And I always go to my knees to lower down. An up dog or Sphinx or cobra. So if you do it like this, that's more like Sphinx, and some people call that baby cobra. With fully extended, that's more like up dog or the cobra. And then the down dog. And gonna do the high crescent lunge again. So I'm gonna bring my right leg forward between my hands and come up. High crescent lunge. And then I'm going to bring my left foot forward and do what's called the chair, which is simply sitting in an imaginary chair. This is a really good glute exercise. I gotta look at my notes. From the chair, we're gonna do one-legged chair, which is lifting up your right ankle, putting it on your left knee, and then trying to lower down again. So I had my eyes closed. I'm gonna try focusing on something across the room. That helps a lot. Look at that. Just focus on one spot. That helps with your balance. And coming out of that, I need to do the other side. Kind of got lost there. I apologize, you guys. I'm new at this. So I think we need to flow it through. So let's do the high mountain, forward fold, halfway lift, chaturanga, up dog to down dog. And now I'm going to do my other leg between my hands and come up. Whoopsie. Good thing that thing was there, that stool. Otherwise I might have fallen over. Okay, so keep eyes open, hold a point on the wall, and high crescent, then bring leg up to meet your other leg, and we'll do the chair again. Breathe into it. And now I'm going to take my left ankle across my right thigh and do the one-legged chair on this side. It's always very different from side to side. We all have one side that's more flexible or stronger. They're just going to be different always. Okay, so let's see. I think that's it on that. So this is what you call choppy and clunky, because the real trick with the teaching is to get your smooth transitions, and I don't have that. I am really at the beginning of my teaching, so I'm just grateful for everything that I do have. So thank you for bearing with me. And let's see who's here. Oh, don't hate. I'm in the car on the way to the mountains, but will follow along on replay tonight. Looking great. Oh, you're too sweet. And not so dumb blonde. You guys, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for saying anything in the chat so that I know that it's working. How many minutes are we at? We're just about 20 minutes. That's perfect. Okay, so now, if you guys can see me, I am going to do a couple of floor exercises. I first want to do the reclined butterfly. And this is butterfly. Your feet together, knees bent, feet up towards your groin. And then reclined butterfly just means you're laying on your back. So this is a really nice exercise or stretch. You could sit like this for 10 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever you like. So just relax into the reclined butterfly for a moment. And then we will do some compressions with our knees to our chest. And then we'll do one of my favorites, which is the supine twist. And then the supported reclined bridge. We'll try the legs up the wall, although I don't really have a good spot in the camera. I'm going to show you guys threading the needle, reclined pigeon, and reclined cow face, okay? I love the way that sounds, reclined cow face. Okay, so knees to the chest compressions is exactly what it sounds like. Just pull your knees into your chest, kind of wiggle your knees from side to side. Move your hips around, move your back around, and then you can straighten your legs, and then I'm going to do my right knee into my chest and my left leg down to the floor. And straighten that right leg. And now the supine twist is simply putting that right knee onto the left side of your body towards the floor. It's fine if you are not touching the floor with your knee. I am not. This is a good place for pillows or bolsters or blocks, but just gravity and air works too. So now with your right hand on the floor, just glance over your right hand. And in that simple intention of glancing over your right hand, it really stretches your neck in a lovely way, really nice. So I'm going to pull the knee back into the chest. I'm going to go let it around some more, kind of circle with the knee, and switch. So the right leg flat on the floor, the left knee into the hands, and pull that thigh to the chest. Maybe straighten the leg, and just circle it around, loosen it up, and then put that left knee onto the right side of your body, reaching your left arm straight out on the floor, and then use your intention of a glance over your left hand to the wall. And see, it feels so different on this side than it did on the other side. Like on this side, it's really stretching my pectoral muscle. On the other side, it really stretched my neck. And then I'm going to turn the other way, glancing towards the right, and then pulling the knee back up. And let's do a funny one called Happy Baby while we're here. So just grabbing your hands. Sorry, this is going to look kind of rude for the camera. I'm going to turn slightly. Yoga's like that. You guys are prepared, right? Okay, so this is called Happy Baby. It's kind of a inverted squat. And I think the proper way to do it is to have your hands on the outside of your feet. You can also hook your fingers around your big toe, or I like to do it with my hands on the inside of the soles of my feet. And Happy Baby is a really nice position to just relax and stretch. It really feels good on a lot of different muscles, which is why we call it Happy Baby. And anybody who's had a baby or taken care of a baby, you know that babies do the Happy Baby without even being told, right? All right, so we'll unpretzel ourselves from that, and then what was I gonna do next? Okay, the supported reclined bridge. So that was called the supine twist. So now the supported reclined bridge, am I in the screen there? Okay, you're gonna have your hands on the floor. Your feet are about hip distance apart. Just push your hips towards the ceiling. This is called the bridge pose. And then you can get a pillow or a block up under your bum, or you can use your hands up under your bum and just pushing. Feel that arch in your back. And from that is a very good way to then do the legs up the wall. So since I don't have a wall, I'm just gonna have an imaginary wall rather than move, because then I have to move the camera and everything. Okay, so legs up a wall is just what it sounds like, having your legs up against the wall like this. So from the feet all the way down to the floor, your legs are up against the wall and your back is on the floor. And this is an excellent way to relax and get your blood circulating. And I guess it's good for when you're bloated too. And what I like about having the wall is that it makes it really easy to then get into shoulder stand, which I don't know about getting into shoulder stand without the help of the wall right now. Maybe. And then plow. You guys know plow. Again, I don't want to be like rude on the screen with my booty in the air, but I'm gonna risk it, okay? Because that's what it's all about, is risk, right? So the plow, let's see, I'm just gonna, okay, this is the shoulder stand. And then lowering the feet to the ground over your head is the plow. Again, shoulder stand. And plow. And then slowly roll back down to the ground. As graceful as possible. Sorry if that wasn't too graceful. All right. All right, so now we're gonna flip over onto our tabletop. I'm gonna get my feet and head switched around from one end of the mat to the other. And this is another one of my favorites. I told you guys, I think in yesterday's silent movie, so you probably didn't hear, unless you were reading my lips. Thread the needle is one of my favorites. So for threading the needle, you're just gonna take one arm, reach up to the ceiling, and then you're going to put that hand through the other arm in the floor and lay down your head and just rest into it for a minute. And then when you come out of it, do that same stretch again, reaching for the ceiling and neutral spine. So now we'll do the other side. Reach left hand to the ceiling, thread the needle. And back up, reach towards the ceiling. And neutral spine and tabletop. So reclined pigeon, you guys. Can you see me all right up there? I'm going to bring my left leg back and my right knee forward. My right foot is by my left hip. And I'm just going to lay down on my forearms, or lay all the way down your head onto the floor if you like. I'm just going to stick with my forearms. This is an amazing stretch for your, again, for your glute, for your thigh. And you can move around and just feel different tensions and releases. Breathe into it. And then I'm gonna come back up into tabletop, back onto the knee, and do the other side. So I got my left knee out in front of me, my right knee behind me, and my left foot by my right hip, and down onto the forearms. See, this is so different than the other side. This is wild. This one's a lot stiffer. I don't even know if I can really do my forearms. But just do what's comfortable. So I'm gonna push up a little bit. So I believe this is called reclined pigeon. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure. I know it's a pose, and I know reclined pigeon is a pose. And so this might be the reclined pigeon. It might be called something else, and reclined pigeon might be a little bit different. Because there's also the lizard, which we're not gonna do the lizard today. We'll do that another time. But I wanted to show you reclined cow face just because I love the name of it. Okay, so let's come back into tabletop. And reclined cow face, is it the funniest name in the world? Can you see my knees? I think you can. So basically, how do we get into reclined cow face? Sit Indian style, or crisscross applesauce if you want to be politically correct. And it's almost like a half lotus to start, but you're bringing one knee over the other. I have my left knee up on my left ankle over my right knee, so my right knee's on the ground. And so cow face is like this, just with your knees. I think it's because like these are cow lips or something. And then reclined cow face would be leaning back. And I think I'm just gonna stay right here. Maybe lean back a little. It's a nice stretch, but I just especially love the name. When I saw that cow face, I'm like, what the heck? It's a funny one. And then I'm gonna come back up and unpretzel, and then re-pretzel the other side. And I like the way, you know, when you're getting into this position, I just like the way your feet are, like they're both on the floor, and then your knees are kind of stacked directly over each other if you can get into that position. If you can't get into any position, this one included, don't worry about it. Doing whatever works or just opting out is absolutely the best way to go, whatever works for you. It's simply an invitation. And the most important thing is that you don't hurt yourself. The most important thing is just to relax and take care of yourself. And I thank you for doing this with me today, you guys. So that's pretty much all I have so far. So I have the beginning and the middle. I don't have an end yet, but what I'm doing is I'm building a master class. It's sort of like a puzzle, and it's sort of like almost like a sculpture, like you lay the foundation and then you build it up. And so I don't really know how I'm going to go from where I've gotten, what else I will include. But I think that the class needs to be like 45 minutes long. And so, you know, you just do the things that you like to do, your favorite positions and your favorite shapes, your favorite poses, and make it your own, put your own signature on it. So something that I'm really excited about with it is making my playlist. I haven't done that yet. I have a list of a bunch of songs, but then arranging them so that you have background music while you're teaching. And then when you have your class, your master class, You can make variations on it. You can do it with different exercises, different positions, inserted or removed, whatever works. So let's end our practice with crisscross applesauce, prayer hands with your thumbs on your third eye between your eyebrows, sealing this practice session with hands over heart. And so it is. Thank you once again for joining me. I hope that it was interesting and inspirational, certainly interesting and inspirational for me. So let's see, where are we at? We are at 35 minutes. Yeah, I think that's pretty good where I'm supposed to be time-wise. So it's a crime against yoga here when I try it here. Oh, Mark, you're so cute and funny. You'll need to do it on the bench with the waves and bird sounds on the beach. Ooh, I like that. Me too. Enya, yeah, Kenny G, Ice-T, Farrell, Marky Mark, and the Funky Bunch. And you need a gong. I've got a big gong. I've got two. Bang a gong. And you know, I'm trying to do some T-Rex into the mix. So that's the big gong. I also have a little gong. But see, if I just move this the slightest bit, I mess everything up. So, yeah, the beach. So that is the practice so far. That's the master class so far. Thanks again for joining me. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm gonna try to do a live later this evening. I can't promise. I had so much trouble trying to do a live earlier with my laptop, so I'll probably have to try it with my cell phone, which you guys know is not my favorite thing. That's what I'm using right now, so I'm just glad that it's working. And again, thank you for joining me. Sending you light, sending you love. Take really good care of yourself because no one else can. You are the otter of your own fat, right? So peace out. Sending you light, sending you love, and see you soon.